when we meet with people, what we find when we ask people, what do you want? It all boils down to three things. They either want time, money, or happiness, right? But what we find in the marketplace is there's a lot of people who have a lot of money, but no time, right? Or there's many people who have a lot of time, but no money, right? And then there are some who have both. They have time and money, but they're miserable, right? Was it worth it? No. So through the New Art of Living, we are sharing with families and businesses how you can really have all three and really create freedom, security, and peace for yourself.
Welcome to the Mind Shift podcast. Join Rocio Perez, your mental performance strategist, as she navigates you through inspiring journeys with global experts, explore breakthrough insights, and awaken the potential within you wherever you are in life. Get ready to transform your personal growth. Here's Rocio to guide you.
Hello, everyone. I am here with an extraordinary guest, Monica Burriss. She's been on our TV show, absolutely phenomenal. I know her in person. I met her through an amazing friend and have had the privilege to be in her space, have conversations. I love what she represents, and you're in for a treat. So welcome, Monica. How are you?
Thank you, Rocio. I'm excellent. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm really excited about the conversation that we had offline, and I'm just going to jump right into it. For those of you who would like to find out more about Monica, take a look at our Expand ITV, where the Mindshift show is at. We're going to be talking about the art of new living, right? The new art of living, and tell us what it is.
Oh, awesome. I'm excited to share with you. This is my mission to go out and share with the world what is this new art of living. And Rocio, it's because when we meet with people, what we find when we ask people, what do you want? It all boils down to three things. They either want time, money, or happiness, right? But what we find in the marketplace is there's a lot of people who have a lot of money, but no time, right? Or there's many people who have a lot of time, but no money, right? And then there are some who have both. They have time and money, but they're miserable, right? Was it worth it? No. So through the New Art of Living, we are sharing with families and businesses how you can really have all three and really create freedom, security, and peace for yourself through multi-handed income, right? Financial education and what we call 10%, three rules, three goals, and self-improvement. And that's really in a nutshell what the New Art of Living is about, right? Mm-hmm. Teaching people how can you have all three, right? So you can have time and money freedom, but be happy at the same time.
Absolutely. I love to start with the self-improvement aspect of it because I believe that everything flows from there. The moment that you start investing in yourself, start to shift the way that you think, the things that you do. Tell me about what is the self-improvement as it relates to the new art of living?
Well, it's about becoming better people, and that work takes daily effort. You cannot just expect to do some magical thing and be a better person forever. It's daily work. So it's committing to really saying, you know what? I'm going to look at the man in the mirror and I'm going to work on that person, and really dedicating your life to it. Like I said, I've been working on self-improvement, Rocio, for over 20 years, and I can see my thinking and my mindset are a lot different than maybe friends, family who went down a different path and they're living sort of like a robot. They're going to sleep, waking up, going to their job, getting home, doing their nighttime routine, going to sleep, doing it again, and for me, I was like, there's got to be a better way, and thank God through associations, I have been attending events at least 5 or 6 a year. They're not in my city. I get up out of my comfort zone. I go somewhere else and learn, how can I become a better mom, a better sister, friend, community member, businesswoman? It's really important, but it takes dedication.
Wow. I love what you said, and especially because we go home. I'm just going to recap what you said. We wake up in a box. We get in our box and drive to work. for those of us, or we sit in a box all day and then we come home and we watch a box.
Mhm.
And how taxing is that on the soul, right? There is no expansion in what we're doing. I love the fact that you go not just for what we call the personal development in one arena, a better mother, a better sister, a better wife, a better business person. How amazing is that that you get to work on yourself in every aspect because we don't exist in just one area.
Exactly.
Wonderful. Tell me the other two. What would you say would be number two on your list on things of the new art of living?
Yeah, for sure. So I love the multi-handed income aspect of it. And that is just because in life, in our society, we're taught how to have single-handed income. What does that look like? It's totally normal to go to school, go to college, right? Spend 100 grand on that education, get a job, work there 30 to 40 years, wake up like, what am I doing? That's normal. Everybody's okay with that, right? But when it comes to hey, how about we invest in a self-education, right?
Mhm.
How about we invest a couple grand a year to just go work on ourselves to become better? And believe it or not, it's such a struggle for people. I think we've talked a little bit about most families and people have a budget for entertainment, but not for self-development and improving, right? And I believe to be a leader, you have to work on yourself. All of that comes from within. You cannot pour out of an empty cup. So my focus is to always constantly be filling my cup, right? Through reading amazing books, attending seminars, meeting amazing people like you. Did you know, Rocio, after college, 80% of people never read a book again?
Wow, that is
I know.
amazing. If you could
Isn't
only
that
imagine 80%, I'm going to go back to one thing that you said, Monica, and it's the fact that we should all invest in ourselves. And I think some people, when I get off the stage and like, oh, see, oh, well, my company is not investing in me. It's not up to the company. We take ourselves with us. And what do they say? We're going to have anywhere from 10 to 12 jobs in our life at a minimum.
Yep.
And especially for people coming out of their careers right now or coming out of college or transitioning, I don't think I've met too many people who have been at a job for 30 years. I
Not
have
anymore.
not anymore. And I
Mhm.
see it across LinkedIn all the time. They spend a year here, a year, 2 years there, maybe 3 years max. We reward the ones who have been there for 30 years, and those are a rarity.
They are. I even believe that people who never give up on improvement are rare. It doesn't
Absolutely.
have to be that way, right? But most people, they're not willing to fall and get back up and be criticized and be tired and still keep going and be brokenhearted and still keep going, lose their mom unexpectedly and keep showing up for yourself and for your family. But again, if you don't put the work in, you don't do those reps, it's hard to be mentally strong. It takes all of
Absolutely.
those adversities to grow into this strong mental being, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I've had so many experiences where you're right. It does take something to get up and continue moving. Uh, Even a diagnosis, we can either sit down or we can reclaim our life and start living at a different place. I've been there personally, taking a look at myself and saying, okay, what am I going to do with this diagnosis? Live
Hmm.
life, enjoy life, create opportunities. I was that person who said, okay, I'm facing death. Okay, great. Thank you. Thank you for those insights. Now it's time to go out and live. Now it's time to go find what is that best version of myself and continue to meet that best version of myself over and over and over again. Honing in on my craft, having my coaches. I continually meet with coaches multiple times a week. I'm not talking about a month, I'm talking about a week. If I need to meet with my coach 7 days a week, I will meet with my coach 7 days a week because guess what? I need that support and I welcome that support. And that's what makes me the best version of myself going on an ongoing basis every single day, honing in on my craft. What is the other thing? We were looking at the multi-handed income and also the income replacement. What else is important about this new art of living that maybe there's an aha moment that we can be having in this moment?
Last but not least is going to be the financial education aspect. You know, I thought I knew enough. The reason why I say that is because I worked in HR for 15 years. I specialized in benefits. I was helping people plan for their futures, their 401ks, their 403bs, depending on what sector I was working for at the time. But we've got to figure out how to learn about money. We've got to figure out how do we earn money on our money, right? For so many years, Rocio, I was just saving in an account, regular savings account, earning 0.01%, the average rate of return, that all of our families and communities, that's what they're earning. It is sickening, but I simply learned about a better way. How? By being around great associations, staying open-minded, like a sponge, constantly learning, always learning. I'm never going to be that person who I know everything. Absolutely not. I know there's so many things I still don't know, right? So I'm hungry for information. Now I learned just about a different savings account where we save now and earn so much more interest. Closer to 3 to 4%. It's still liquid. It's just a savings account. Did anybody ever teach me that? Not until 5.5 years ago. And it does make me mad, that we lost out on so much money. We were good savers. Not that we were wealthy. Me and my husband were both working regular jobs. Me in my HR profession. He is a fireman, right? So nothing crazy. We started from nothing, just like I'm sure a lot of people out there.
Mhm.
But look, we implemented a system and a habit. Savings is a habit. At a minimum, our families in America must start to save 10% of their net income. And how does that look? Well, right now, I'm going to say how it looks for most families. Okay, even for mine when I came in. We have our home at our front door. Imagine everyone we pay bills to is lined up, right? And we have bills. We've got our mortgage, we've got utilities, cell phone, insurance, whatever it is. We got to pay those monthly, yeah? Our families normally are at the back of the line. We
Mhm.
save if there's anything left, right? Because we spend, we save, we borrow, we may save. So, what we're teaching families is you know what? We got to bring our family to the front of the line. We are first. What does that look like? We pay ourselves 10%, treat ourselves like a bill. And that's your habit. You've got to do it. Otherwise, we will continue this cycle of struggle and poverty forever.
Well, I was at a conference, speaking of personal development. I was at a conference years ago where they quoted that the vast majority of people cannot come up with 500 extra dollars a month. Why? And like, and that's a great question. How do we get out of that mentality of not paying ourselves first, of not really taking care of our bills? And how many people right now we continue to see that you are right. We were talking about the GoFundMe's and all of these things that continue to happen over and over again, which is, in a way, it's a tool. But why use the tool to begin with, right? How about we start to teach that education, the financial education? Let that be a normal conversation inside of our families, inside of everywhere, institutions, education, everywhere. That to me is part of the conversation that's important for us to continue to have, if anything. In I think stress, the financial stress is probably one of the biggest things that people experience in their lives, in their marriages, in their homes. Why? We don't talk about what's important.
Yeah, and sometimes we don't know. I look at my parents and maybe they didn't know. I know nobody taught them. When my mom
Mhm.
passed away, she had no life insurance, and this was right when I joined the business. And I had been in HR for 15 years, but I never thought about educating my family. I mean, that just wasn't my mission at the time. And now that I see such the need for it. And I wish somebody would have came to my mom and sat with her. But you know what, Rocio? We didn't have any money. So the banking industry could care less about our family, right? And
Mhm.
so my mission is to go, I do care about the person who's at minimum wage, who can barely save perfect. I don't work off quotas. I want to help families. I have a mission. I don't care
Mhm.
about the commission, you know? And again, I think it's helping people really think about the impact, the later, not the right now. The right now, we don't really care. But what if, for a young family, something happens? What if it's a more seasoned family and then the spouse dies and they were the one responsible for the finances?
Mhm.
What's the impact on the family then? It's major, not only money, it's stress, it's physical, it's sickness, it's dis-ease, which turns into disease.
Right.
We can mitigate that, but we have to get discipline and care about the future, or we're going to stay in poverty.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Monica, thank you so much for your thoughts and your insights. Where can someone reach you?
Yeah, the best place would be on my Facebook or Instagram. It's just Monica Burris, my name, first and last name. Or they can always email me, which is also Monica Burris, Monica Burriss, two R's and two S's at yahoo.com. Or you can give me a call. I do always answer my phone. It's 520-991-2116. And I hope you do reach out. I'd love to have a conversation.
I love it. Thank you so much for your thoughts, your insights, teaching us about the new art of living. I love the fact that we can set our families up for success. And what an insight. Not just because we work in an industry does it mean that we're sharing that information, even with our own families. Like that could be a huge wake-up call to any of us who may be working in any industry, like the health industry, whatever it is. That's important for us to share that knowledge. And it's also equally as important for our family to absorb that knowledge, to be open and receptive to those gifts that are being given to us as well. Thank you so much
Absolutely,
for being here.
Rocio. It
Thank you.
was my pleasure. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Thank you for joining us today on the Mindshift podcast. Rocio hopes you've been inspired and gained insights to fuel your journey of personal growth. Remember to subscribe and share this episode with friends who are also exploring their potential. Leave us a review to help spread the message. Rocio says, stay curious, stay inspired, and keep exploring your potential with us. Until next time, goodbye.